Hello, my friends. Katie Day with the Moving to Texas team today. We are here with another episode of the Real Advice podcast. I'm excited for this week's guest. Coming from a hospitality and management background, he has done a ton in many different areas of real estate, from investing and flipping to rental properties and beyond, finally landing in residential real estate. He's definitely been in many different parts of the industry and now leads the #1 small team in Alabama. Please join me in welcoming Dusty Cole.
Thank you, Katie. Such an honor to be here. I appreciate the invite.
I'm so glad you're here. So for those that may not know you, Dusty, tell me a little bit about yourself.
So I run a small team on the Gulf Coast of Alabama with my wife. My wife and I, Heather. She does operations, marketing, and I do sales. So kind of the forward facing. She does the back end very well. We have 2 kids, 11 and 12 years old, born and raised in the market where we serve and work. So yeah, we're with the Remax franchise here. We also own a model mortgage franchise and a We Insure franchise, which is their newer businesses that are just growing.
Cool. Well, I definitely want to dig a little bit into the ancillary services and stuff like that. But I guess let's kind of dig into like the real estate side of things first and then kind of get there eventually. What advice would you give to someone that's like just starting out in real estate?
I'd probably say make sure you're getting in the business under the right pretenses. I find that a lot of people get in the business with this distorted view of what the business actually is. So really kind of talk to people that are successful in the business and make sure you understand what it's actually going to take to do the job and do it well and to build a business. And that's another thing I would say, focus on building a business and don't take like a hobbyist approach about it. And then early on, focus on having real estate conversations, however you want to do that, wherever you want to generate those. It's a contact sport. Talk to people.
Yeah, no, I think that's so important. So many people go to the office and stay really busy, but they're not actually having conversations with people. Right. And I think running like a business is something that's super important as well. For a lot of people, that have had previous careers and stuff like that, you kind of get the budgeting and management side of things. But for those that this is their first job, I think, or a job that they think there's more freedom, I think that,
right. And I see people get into it and they're attracted to the freedom and really that is like a trap. I mean, sure, you have some freedom. Like, if I want to go to my daughter's field trip, we're going to do that. I'm not going to miss a ball game. Yeah. But if I really want to build a business that is sustainable and of importance, we start at 8 a.m. We have a morning routine we follow. We work all day. We work from a schedule. Yeah. It's not like these just wake up and what am I doing today? Which I see a lot.
Yeah, I feel that way sometimes, but I do have a schedule as well. So you did mention that you and your wife work together. So how did you start the team? Do y'all have team members on it as well? What does that look like?
Yep. So I started full-time sales in January of 2016 as just a single agent. And I was licensed about a year prior. I was, in a different career. About halfway through that first year, I was already starting to be busy, and generating enough business where she was able to quit her career. She had a good job and then come work with me, which really enabled us to kind of catapult because her strengths are completely different than mine. Yeah. I'm a salesperson mindset, entrepreneur. She's like an operator, back of the house type person. So we work together. Do you want me to just keep going?
Or yeah, for sure. For sure.
Okay. We hired our first agent, I think, in 2017. So that was our first hire, a buyer's agent. And then we hired a second agent and then a transaction coordinator. So we've been in this kind of slow evolving process, pulling her out. So now we have a listing coordinator, transaction coordinator, executive assistant who helps me personally. And 4 agents right now. Yep. We'll stay small as far as agents.
Yeah. Awesome. And I know, you guys are definitely highly productive for your size. What, would you still do it the same way? And I think, a lot of times, so like when I started my team, our first hire was an agent. And if I could go back and do it again, I would probably have started with an admin, but it sounds like your wife kind of was in that role with like some of the marketing and admin stuff,
Yep,
would you
Heather.
still do it the same way?
I think so. Of course, we learned some lessons on hiring, through
Yeah.
the process. But I think it's important to make sure you have the sales volume happening, before you grow. Some people I see try to grow too quickly. It's like they have this idea of what their team should look like, and they just start hiring towards it. So I think having the engine turning, but I think the order of which we did things was good. And of course now we're much more intelligent, with hiring.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that there's so many different, people out there that talk about their teams and things like that. So it's like, I think there's no really one size fits all. I talked to someone the other day and they were asking me about my team and I kind of told them the structure and they're like, well, that's not how I want to run mine. I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
There's no one size fits all. So it's always
So
interesting.
I'll comment on that, Katie. And I think that's the freedom, right, that you have as an entrepreneur in this business. It's not the freedom to not work all day or whatever. It's to build it however you want it. And that's what really excited me about this business. Whenever, we started, it was like, I felt like all my entrepreneurial like spirits could really get to work. I can build it however and fail if we can and change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you balance working with your spouse, or what advice would you give to someone that's, maybe because you hear that a lot. I mean, that's how our team started. That's how your team started as well. Like, what advice would you give to someone?
I think develop what lane, you guys are going to be in. I think we were kind of fortunate that, we both were not trying to be salespeople at the same time. So, just try to get those boundaries. We actually kind of have a saying on our team, stay in your lane, where the admin support will correct the agents. Nope, that's my lane. But I think just having a, understanding, husband, wife, this is my lane. Trust me, let me do this. This is my lane. Let me do this.
Yeah.
And kind of define that from the beginning. And then I would say vacation together, take time off, do all those things outside of work, where you can still have fun together and not be work all the time.
Yeah. And that's good advice for whether or not you're working with your spouse, still carving out that time
Yeah,
for personal
that's right.
life and doing things. And especially over the past few years, I feel like we've all kind of fallen into the trap of how busy it's been in the market, like just work. So
that's right. I agree 100%.
So you mentioned that, you guys you're up to 4 agents on the team right now. Obviously, I'm sure you're going to continue to grow as time goes on. I know your background is hospitality and kind of management of people, stuff like that. I always feel like hospitality is a great source for real estate agents, just because you're dealing with lots of people, different personalities, stuff like that. As you've grown the team and had, I'm sure, great hires and maybe people that weren't maybe the best fit here, what where have you found is like the best place to find agents, or what's kind of that like agent avatar for y'all?
Right. Good question. I do think hospitality is a great place to start because you learn so much. You have to develop some grit. If you're like customers facing, in that type of industry, you also have good communication skills. I do find sometimes in that industry, there might be some discipline, that has to be overcome, when you're kind of working nights and things like that. So it's a big change, for a lot of people. We got one great agent from Joe. He was in property management.
Yeah.
So he kind of knew the lingo, and we didn't have to like teach him, a lot of that. He just had to get accustomed to our system. But the avatar that we kind of look for now is not a brand new agent. Maybe you've done 10 deals. We're not teaching the purchase agreement of every line item too, but we're just trying to teach them how to make money. Like if you want to come learn how to make money, more money, then let us teach you. Yeah.
Well, and I think something else that you mentioned earlier was like, just kind of the structure of your team and having a listing coordinator and transaction coordinator and marketing help and stuff like that. And all of that, when you start adding it up for an individual agent, gets expensive, right? So, doing 10 deals on your own versus coming on a team and doing 20 or 25 deals and having all that support's, I think super helpful.
Yes, that's the most attractive thing. I think as team leaders, sometimes we make it too much about the leads, but we find that people really want that help, that mentorship, that balance, and quality of life, and take all the paperwork and stuff off of them, so they can just focus on selling.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Stay in your lane and don't do your paperwork because it's probably
That's
not going to
right.
be right.
Don't do that. Yeah.
So as far as, you mentioned leads, where's your team kind of finding leads right now? What's your kind of main pillars of
Yep.
lead sources?
So as a whole, we still do a lot of sphere of influence past client because that's a large majority of my business now, and mine's included. I still sell. The team members fill out their own business plans. The only lead source that they are required to work is the pay-per-click Google that we paid for. We use Commissions Inc. as a CRM, and we've got a huge database in there of opportunity. So they work those, and then they work whatever lead source is on their business plan. We've had a lot of success with expireds over the years. That's kind of where I started, calling expireds. A little different in this market, but that's we still work those. And we've kind of pivoted towards circle dialing. Our business is built on phone calls.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So when you come to work with us, it's kind of a prerequisite. Are you willing? Are you able to at least learn? If not, it probably won't work out with us. And that's just how we do it.
Yeah.
Now we are active on social too, but it starts with that with us. So whatever phone outbound prospecting that you can put on your business plan, then of course, whatever else we can develop through social and interaction, we do.
Yeah. No, I think that prospecting based and then, enhancing it with marketing is always a great,
Yes.
way to drive business. It's always interesting too, like the just making phone calls. Cause I think that I guess where I'm going with this is so many people get so nervous to make phone calls, scared of rejection, scared of, whatever it may be. For someone that may have some of that apprehension, what advice would you give them to kind of get over it?
I think getting really connected to your why and why you're doing it. If you have a really strong, emotional, maybe even selfish why, and remembering that and trying to get connected to that emotionally, and the upside is so huge and what it can do for you and your family if you really dive into that, So I think kind of getting emotional with it in that way, and it's like, man, I can really change my life if I'm willing to just talk to people. And think about the people that are outside on like roofing and doing all this really hard labor, and all you got to do is come in here and learn some skills and talk to people, and you can have a better life. So that's what I would think about.
Yeah. No, have you ever read the book by Bill Hart, White Collar Warrior?
No. That sounds like I need to.
You're like, let me write that down.
Yeah.
But basically it draws, and there really aren't parallels, but it draws the parallels between sales and marketing to like serving our country. Right.
Oh, wow.
And, just the mindset needed for that. And like throughout the book, he's like, you're not putting your life on the line here. So stop like basically making it like you are, like get out there and,
toughen
get
up a little
shit
bit,
done,
right?
basically. Yeah.
I'll check that out.
But it's a really good mindset book, and it does kind of bring you back to that, kind of what's your bigger vision? Why are you doing this, type mindset.
Thank you for that recommendation. Check that out.
All right. Well, flipping it back on you, do you have any books that you've read recently or like your like go-to new hire books that y'all have agents read?
More like, well, I've had some leadership books that come to mind that really resonated with me. Five Dysfunctions of a Team.
Yep.
It was a very impactful on me. The book, The Go-Giver or A Go-Giver, was a really good book. Let's see. That's the first two. So that's what I got right now. Yeah.
I like it. I selfishly ask that question because right now I'm doing 75 hard and I'm about to finish my book. So I need to figure out what my next book's going to be. Because I'm
sorry. That Five Dysfunctions of a Team was awesome. It was really help. When you have a group and a team setting, to really reevaluate how you're interacting and viewing what's negative and what's positive on a team was really profound to me.
Yeah. That's like Patrick Lencioni. I love his books because they're like easy to read, but super impactful and like give you like tactical things of like, how to hire, what to look out for, stuff like that. So I wholeheartedly agree with that one.
Awesome.
Dusty, if you weren't a real estate agent, what would you be doing?
I think I would just be building a business in some way. I've kind of discovered that sales can kind of be parallel. I didn't really realize how important sales was in all businesses. Like before I started learning about how to, be successful in this business. So I think I would just be in some sales oriented, business. Also think I could have been an attorney, and argue. But more than likely just building a business built around sales if it wasn't real estate.
You say you're more of a salesperson than a paperwork person. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of arguing going on for attorneys, but there's also a lot of like reading and paperwork. So I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you for talking me out of that.
Not going to be your like third career, I guess. We'll see.
No.
So I know you've had a lot of different experience and like different facets of the real estate industry and kind of took a little bit of a winding path to get to where you are, right? Like what advice would you give for, since you came from kind of being an investor and owning investment properties and stuff like that? I know you own them still, but like what advice would you give to like an agent that's looking to work with someone, or investors? Because I think that it's sometimes difficult to flush out if someone's actually an investor or not, right? First of all.
Right.
And then I think it's just a different client, right? So like, do you have any advice you'd give to agents?
I think be an investor yourself, and that will really give you confidence, when conveying knowledge to potential investors. Some things are just hard to learn unless you go through them yourself. Certainly, you can tailor your content toward investors. You can know the inventory. You can get to know developers, and kind of network in that world.
Yeah.
But I think most of when I speak to investors, the confidence I can convey them is just, real experience, things we have been through ourselves.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So as far as do y'all have short-term rentals in your market?
Do. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it difficult to find them?
No, we are a beach community, Gulf Shores, Orange Beach. So, we have a lot of them. I think now in this market, it might be more difficult to find the right investment for you and making sure, that you're putting your money in the right place, because prices are up. Returns are a little bit down. The rental revenues have gone up, but not at the same pace as the sales prices. So we've done some things, moved our money around a few times, just trying to make sure it's in the best, place long-term for us. We've moved our money kind of out of some older buildings, once you get past 40 years old, that's a pretty old building, moving our money to some new developments and things like that.
Yeah. Less stuff breaking down and things like that. I just wasn't sure. Cause like, I know in some of the more like tourist type areas, like there's a lot of restrictions against short-term rentals. So I wasn't sure if like that had kind of moved into Gulf Shores or Orange Beach.
No, they have drew lines pretty defined, but it is our both beach communities are all short-term rentals.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Good to know. I'll keep that in mind.
Please come visit. Yeah.
What would you say is kind of like your ideal daily schedule? Because I know obviously like you have your team. I know you work out. I know you have a family. So what does that look like for you?
So depending on what's going on with the kids, I'll wake up between 4 and 5 a.m. So it's usually either a 5 a.m. workout or a 6 a.m. workout. The 5 a.m. works a lot better for me. So and most days, 5 a.m. I'm back to the house 6:15. Kids off to the school. We carpool, so sometimes I'm taking, sometimes I'm not taking them to school. So I do get the kids off at the office by 8. We do huddle as a team in person at 8:15 to 8:30, where we do script practice, accountability, motivation, whatever we need, is needed. Then we've been doing 8:30 to 10:30 phones for several years now, where we tuck away and we make our calls. We've just in the last week, we've looked at the idea of giving that 8:39 time to get with the transaction coordinator, housekeeping, and et cetera. Not calling as many expireds anymore, so it's not as critical to get on early. So we're thinking about moving that to 9 and 11. So I do my best, with the amount of business I'm doing, to do that myself. But definitely an expectation for the agents to do that. Housekeeping, either 10:30 to 12 or 11 to 12 with the, you're writing offers, whatever you're doing, that sort of thing. You got to have time for that. And then appointments in the afternoon after lunch. That's what we try. That's our ideal.
Yeah. What would you say to someone if they said that they don't like doing role play?
I would say why. How did you come to that?
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
let's role play the conversation, right? I
Right.
just get really nervous. I'm fine when I'm in front of clients, but like I just get really nervous with the team, going over these things.
Okay, I understand that. Would you be open to doing some role play, just you and I, one-on-one? I'd be happy to set some time aside to do that for you, or maybe with another agent.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say I don't see the point, but like, I just don't know if I see the value in it. Cause like, I'm fine when I'm in front of clients. It just,
Yeah, I've heard that before, and I think that how about this? Why don't you just come sit in our huddles for a while, listen to the things we're talking about, and I bet that as you go out and start having conversations with clients, that you're going to see some parallels of things we're talking about, and some ways you can improve, to your conversion and therefore your income and therefore your life. So why don't we do that for a while and then see if you feel the same way in a month?
All right. So we do a lot of role play as well. We have, buyer role play. We have seller role play, kind of overcoming objections and stuff like that. And then even like, okay, this week we're doing is appointments. So like how do we set appointments? How do you, overcome people's objections, whatever. And I get that a lot. People are like, I just get so nervous when it's like with the team, but I'm fine when I'm with clients. I'm like, but are you?
Yeah, right. Well, you listen to their calls, go with them maybe, but I do find that some people do struggle in that environment. They do kind of lock up, but I think there's some value in pushing through that, because, it is a pressure situation no matter how you slice it,
Yeah, for sure. And for me, I think with role play and script practice, it's like, I know you're not going to go and like, hello, it is wonderful for us to meet today. But it gets all the right words in your brain and you can make them your own. So
at least that opening line, I find, at least getting the conversation started, with confidence and something concise.
Yeah.
And then if you want to get off of that, you can
go on a tangent.
Yeah.
Good deal. All right. I'm going to hit you with a hard hitting question.
Okay.
I hope you're ready for it.
Okay. Let's see.
The anticipation. All right. If it were your last meal on earth, what would you be eating?
Spaghetti. My wife's spaghetti. Yeah.
All right.
Some good stuff.
What is it like a tomato sauce? Does she like make it? Is it meat
sauce?
Meat.
It's meat sauce. Yeah. I don't know. It's made with love, I guess. It's just really good.
The main ingredient is love. I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
What about you? What is your last meal?
So my two favorite things to eat are steak and sushi. So it would be some sort of combination of like red meat and sushi of some sort. It's a little surf and turf twist on the surf and turf.
I like it. Depends who made the sushi, but yeah, it's good stuff.
I mean, obviously I'm not going to like go get gas station sushi for my last meal,
but
one, right?
We have some really good sushi in Orange Beach.
Okay. Well, you're just kind of stacking the reasons for me to come. I'm like, investment property, beach, obviously to see you and sushi. So,
that's right.
In no particular order.
Welcome anytime.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you and taking the time out of your busy day to come chat for a little bit. If people want to find you online, where's the best place for them to go?
Dusty Cole on Instagram, Dusty Cole Team on Facebook. Dusty@DustyColeTeam is my .com is my email. I'm an open book, happy to help anyone. Thank you for inviting me. Good questions, good time.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you. Can't wait till we get to see each other in person again, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Katie.